Welcome back. Namaste. I'm Dr. Rajeev Kurapati. Today's video is on Devi Navaratri. Devi Navaratris is a particular, very auspicious, special religious period that is observed by all Hindus all over the world. It is a period of 9 nights. Nava means 9. Ratri means nights. Navaratri, 10 days and 9 nights. Now, let us see what is the significance of it in this very brief video. Devi Navaratri means Devi is the supreme reality, the supreme consciousness, or the ultimate reality that is responsible for the manifestation of this world, sustenance of this world, and ultimately the dissolution of it. So in this particular celebration, or in this particular observance, the supreme reality is celebrated in the form of a female, in a female form. Okay, so Devi is the female form of the supreme reality, and these 9 nights is a celebration, is a remembrance, is a celebration of love and celebration of remembrance of this particular female form of supreme consciousness. You know, the supreme consciousness or Parabrahman is neither a male nor a female nor a neuter gender. It is beyond all these. It is beyond gunas. But for us humans to celebrate, we need a certain form, we need a certain name, and Durga or Devi is that female form of the supreme consciousness. So we celebrate in 9 nights the supreme consciousness in the form of in a female form. Now, the most commonly celebrated form, or the way we celebrate these 9 nights, is by doing what is called a Durga Saptasati, or by reciting a particular text from a Purana called Markandeya Purana. We know that there are 18 Puranas which were composed by sage Vyasa long time ago, and one of the main Puranas is Markandeya Purana, and from that Markandeya Purana there is a particular section called Durga Saptasati. Durga Saptasati is a part from Markandeya Purana, and people recite that and do homa. Homa means form of a fire ritual, fire worship or ritual. And Durga Saptasati, 700 slokas or verses are there in this Durga Saptasati. Now, these 700 verses are divided into roughly 3 parts. 700 is divided into there are numerous chapters in it, and these chapters are roughly divided into 3 categories. The first category is, the theme of this Durga Saptasati is the supreme consciousness, or the supreme knowledge, or the supreme gnana, by attaining which you will overcome the 3 gunas, Sapta, Tamo, Rajas, and Sattva gunas. So why do you want to, well, let me give you a brief overview of what these gunas are. Now, we know that the world or the universe arose from out of nothing. Out of nothingness came the world. This nothingness is not to be seen as complete void, devoid of anything. It means no thing, no thingness. From this pure potential came the world or the universe and its manifestations. Now, every aspect of this universe is composed of a combination of 3 gunas. Guna means quality. 3 gunas. Sapta, Rajas, and Tamogunas. So you can actually test it out yourself. You yourself is a combination of these Sapta, Rajas, Sattva, Rajas, and Tamogunas. Sattva guna is equilibrium. Tamoguna is inertia. Rajoguna is action, agitation, excitement, and so on. So it is a combination of these three gunas that every aspect of the universe is manifested. You take a flower, you take water, river, wind, air, the Panchabhutas, everything is a combination of these three gunas. These three gunas and its manifestations and its combinations arose from this pure potential or pure consciousness or Parabrahman. And this Parabrahman we are celebrating in the form of Devi, female form. And that is the significance of Navaratri. Now, with supreme knowledge, with Gnana, you recognize the Sattva, Rajas, and Tamogunas. Or let me put it this way, Tamas and Rajas and Sattva gunas, I just came from the backwards, Tamas, Rajas, and Sattva gunas, and you win over all these tendencies and recognize the pure potential, which is the reflection, the pure potential, the Parabrahman reflects in you and enlightens and makes you aware, that awareness within you. That is a reflection of the pure potential or the pure consciousness of the Parabrahman. Now, this coming back to Durga Saptasati, the 700 verses divided into numerous chapters, and they are recited in the homas, in the pujas, in the worship, in the to the deities throughout these nine nights. And what is the content of what is in these 700 verses called Durga Saptasati from Markandeya Purana? The first third is not a supreme consciousness or Durga Devi or Devi winning over two forms of inertia called Madhu and Kaitaba. Madhu and Kaitaba. Madhu means honey, Kaitaba means the insect. For a moment, you set aside the actual meanings and meanings of these words, but focus on what they represent, what they signify. Madhu, Kaitaba signifies the inertia within each of us. By doing the Durga Saptasati, you gain that knowledge to win over the inertia within you. That is the first third of the Durga Saptasati. The second third represents winning over the Rajoguna within you, which is the excitatory, hyperactive, or the action that is not that has gone out of control, and that is represented by Mahishasura. Mahishasura represents the Rajoguna within us. So Devi, or that pure consciousness, by knowing which you win over the Rajoguna, which is winning over Mahishasura. So that is the second third of Durga Saptasati. The final 1/3 represents winning over by using knowledge, winning over two aspects of our gunas called Shumbha, Nishumbha. And finally, you come to what is called Rakta Bija. Rakta Bija actually represents the Sattva Guna. It doesn't look like that, but that actually represents or signifies the Sattva Guna. Sattva Guna, what happens is when you attain Sattva Guna, the person thinks that he has become enlightened, he has won over the Tamas and the Rajoguna, and therefore he gets what is called a spiritual pride. Spiritual pride is the most difficult form of ego that you can, that is difficult to eliminate, because people, you have seen that people with spiritual pride, it is very difficult to explain anything to them in the form of knowledge, spiritual knowledge, because they feel like they know everything. And therefore, Rakta Bija, you cut off the head of Rakta Bija, and or the head of Rakta Bija, and from that, the blood that comes out, every drop of blood gives rise to another Rakta Bija. So it becomes the more you try to kill that ego, the bigger it becomes. That is the significance of Rakta Bija. And Devi has a technique to do that, and that is explained in the last 1/3 of the Durga Saptasati. Without spilling a single drop of blood, by consuming the whole blood, the Devi destroys that form of ego, which is the spiritual pride. So this is the significance of Devi Navaratris. In this, there are numerous ways of doing it. One is remembering this female form of the Supreme Consciousness, chanting, doing homas, doing rituals from Durga Saptasati, using Durga Saptasati. Well, it is not just enough to recite these verses. You have to look at the significance, the inner philosophical meaning of this Durga Saptasati. And then you do fasting, you celebrate, you wear nice clothes and things like that. That is the ritualistic aspect of it. But it also, why the fasting? Most people fast during these 9 days because fasting is a form of inner purification, cleansing your body, cleansing your mind. When you're fasting, your body is focused on internal healing. Of course, science tells us it does autophagy and so on and so forth. I'm not going to go into that. But from a spiritual standpoint, fasting is very significant. It gives you purification of the body, purification of the mind, and therefore it becomes easier to focus on your inner dimensions, to go within. So that is the significance of Navaratris. In Navaratris, which means 9 nights, this part of the year, you slow down, you go within, you disconnect from the outer world, you fast. Fasting does not only mean not eating, it also means fasting from that inner dialogue, that the constant rumination about the world that goes on. You take a break from it. These 9 days is a dedicated period that our ancestors have designed so that it helps both the mind, body, and to connect with the Supreme Consciousness. So remember that Durga Saptasati is recited during Navaratris, fasting is performed, inner contemplation is encouraged, and this helps you with inner purification, understanding your own 3 gunas, Sattva, Rajas, and Tamo gunas, and Supreme Consciousness in the form of a female deity is being created and celebrated. It is a form of celebration. So that is the beauty of Navaratris.